I think we've been really pushing the group, no matter who's playing, that they share the load of and the responsibility of whatever position they're put in. And I think the pleasing part from our point of view is, I think that's the fourth game on the road. We've only really had one poor quarter, and that was against Richmond a couple of weeks ago in the last quarter. I mean, so to come up 6-day break after a derby, it's a big tick for our guys, even though we didn't play that well the previous week.
Mark, obviously, the big man RSA went off fairly late. I know it's only early after.
Yeah.
How is he okay?
Well, it's his big toe. It's called turf toe, I believe. It's a new injury. Turf toe. So he will have a scan on Monday. So he look out. Is he talking to himself, that bloke? So I can't give you a diagnosis at this stage, but he's walking around, so I'd say that's okay, but you never know with that type of injury.
But what's the turf toe?
Well, more ligament, I believe, but as I said, wait for the scan.
Have you been told what his chances are?
No, it's an unusual injury that it's hard to diagnose without a scan. Yeah.
So what's the next step? Will he have scans tomorrow?
Monday, yeah. Valentine's fine, he's got a cork. Yeah. We're probably a little bit conservative with him, knowing that he was coming off a small hamstring. Oh, look, I thought physically the way he was on a real mission. It's obviously a club where he come from. And he's been really good for us in that area anyhow. And I think particularly early, he set the scene for a lot of our guys, and when you've got a young group, that's important when it comes from a guy like Nick who's only 5 or 6 games down the track in his career at Fremantle.
You must be very pleased with the progress of Nathan Fine.
Yeah, I guess he
gets a lot of the ball.
He does, and to his credit, I mean, we played him forward a lot today, and then when we put him on the wing, he also has this uncanny knack of being involved in the game for long periods of time. So, yeah, he's turning into be a special player. Yeah.
What do you think he's been brought up since they hit 6 goals and seem to get away from it at the start of the game?
Well, I think we have to finish up at scoring him in the third quarter. We knew that they'd had issues, particularly after half-time, and we were pretty conscious of that. We wanted to stop any momentum that they may have got, or any crowd control, or that may have got in behind them. And I think, our back line, I think Gray got us during that third quarter a couple of times, but it was more the unpressured delivery going inside that was a little bit more frustrating. But to our guys' credit, once again, they fight through those situations, and if you're going to be a good team, you need to.
You did seem to be down that game over just before quarter time, you had to check the crowd as well. What was the problem there?
It would have been something to do with his role on a particular play.
So just not stepping in the right response?
No, well, he's on Pierce, so you've got to watch that guy.
But in the end, he's obviously had one of his better games.
Yeah, no, he has. I mean, the pleasing part I think we had 400 possessions, is a lot of our guys got a lot of the ball that, there's been quite a few over the last couple of weeks that haven't. So the confidence in the way that they were creative and they took the game on was pleasing.
And Reece as well, is it fair to say you're riding him pretty hard now that he's sort of back and fit? Are you riding him pretty hard that day?
Reece is working through this game at AFL level, and he'll be midfield forward for the majority of time when he plays. And I thought he was important in that third quarter when he kicked 2 goals. But I really liked his last quarter. I thought he was running as good as anyone in the last quarter. So he's continuously working hard on his game, and that's what we need.
Your handball kick ratio is almost 1 to 1 today, and you did have some great passes. Is that where you wanted to be?
It got a little bit slippery as the game wore on too. The previous 2 weeks we'd only had 300 possessions, both those games, and we made a point of making sure that we needed to control, or not over-possess, but make sure that the opposition had to chase us a little bit more. And I think we had 400 plus possessions today, so we need to work them over when we've got the ball, the opposition I'm talking about.
Yeah, I get the notion that if you want to know what journey someone's going through, put on their shoes. You've been there, turning over all this novice coach.
Yeah.
What's that all about? What's the challenge in holding it all together?
Well, the challenge is that sometimes, whether you like it or not, you're going to get wiped off the park along the way. And I admire coaches that want to go through the development phase of the team and the club, for that matter, and its supporters. And right now, that's what Matthew's doing. And it was only 3 or 4 years ago that I was in exactly the same position. And he's doing the right thing by the club. And it's going to be difficult at times, but you must ride the wave and eventually see the light, because it'll happen provided the recruiting and the strategy is right.
What's the toughest challenge of doing it? Holding your nerve or not being distracted by every other opinion?
Both, all of that, and then be able to logically play the players that are going to grow with the team. And you have to get that right as well, and the right role and position for those guys along the way.
After the back of 2 losses, St Kilda next week at home, how important is it today, given you still got that fairly long?
Yeah, I mean, they won today too, so, I mean, we tend to write off or put pressure on teams too early in this competition. I can tell you now that it is so tough to keep winning, and every week you come up against something different from a football club, and it will be the media pressure of them not winning at times, or individuals not playing well. And so it is difficult to keep the momentum going, knowing that you're confronted with all these different situations that more often than not is coming from off-field or external pressure. Tendai? I mean, you just see some little glances what he did there, and he hasn't done a lot. It was a big risk. He's really popular amongst the team. Wonderful, fantastic story. I spoke to his mum and dad before the game, and they were just ecstatic. I think in time you're going to see this guy really start to be a real weapon for us. That was his 5th toilet break. 5th it was. I didn't realise that's another stat that you might want to put down. We carry 2 players with us today, Jay Van Burlo and Jonathan Griffin. They would be in line for selection next week. Not anyone that's on the injury front, no. Oh, you always feel, particularly on the road, you do, absolutely. And you know, you've Port are fighting a lot of controversies at the moment, and so it's what do you expect? That's from your team, but also the opposition. So it's always that interesting debate that you have when you tactically go after the opposition and what you're going to be confronted with. Sometimes, you know, I was perhaps looking for, or thinking that there might be some unpredictability in where they play players today. I mean, Motlop played across the half-back line after half-time. It's those sort of things that you don't budget for in your planning.
If Sandy was to miss next week, you almost look forward to a challenge. I don't know when playing to work, but would it be good for you to have a crack at it?
No, I prefer him in the team, would be fair to say. But, you know, if it's not to be, then it gives Jonathan Griffin a good chance to probably work in there with Kepler.
And probably give Sandy a rest as well.
Oh, no, well, he had a rest today. And don't forget, only maybe a month ago he had another rest when he got whacked in the eye. So I think did that happen against Adelaide? So he just keeps getting whacked, or he just keeps getting... Eh? Well,
Going down this path of, and you've noted the fatigue that was going to come on.
yeah.
Are you going to have to revisit that mid-season draft trade period again?
Yeah, look, I mean, you're starting to see some coaches, and more importantly, the players are starting to talk about how long it takes them to recover from games, knowing that they're playing 5 to 10% more. Now, the AFL have to listen, because it is substantial, and what we're finding is less and less time, and I saw Neil Craig talk about it, less and less time you can spend with them on the training track throughout the course of the week because they're still recovering. Now, if the Melbourne clubs are getting sore and they're taking longer to recover, well, the interstate clubs would be even further advanced with all that type of stuff. So it's something we need to really make sure that we sit down and discuss with the AFL.